Hi, I'm Charlie Frost, and on today's episode of the 24MX Workshop, I'll be showing you how to install a chain and when it's convenient to do so, so stay tuned. So we're going to change the chain now. So a good indication of when to change the chain is on the adjusters here. You can see when the adjusting bolt is quite far back, that shows that the wheel is coming backwards out of the swing arm. So when the adjusting bolt is basically at its limit, probably about here, that's a good time to change the chain, which then means we can push the wheel forward again and start again with the adjuster being right at the front and a nice new chain fitted. And what that'll do is over a period of time, the chain will stretch. So the longer you keep the chain on the bike, the further back this adjuster will come, and then the more stretched the chain will be. So as you can see, this adjuster isn't too bad. I'd probably say you've got another 5 to 10 rides out of this chain, and I'd probably be looking to change it. But I'm going to demonstrate now how to change this chain, going from this genuine chain to a 20MX lightweight racing 520 chain. So without further ado, the first thing we'll do is, because it's got a split link on the chain, you want to locate where the split link is. So as you can see, split link is here. I tend to put the split link on top of the sprocket here, so it doesn't move when I'm working with the bike. Also, I'll put the bike in gear, meaning that the wheel no longer moves. So when I'm trying to work with the sprocket, it won't move from that position. So when I get the split link removed, remove the link of the chain and remove the old chain. So firstly, I'll get a set of pliers and remove that old split link. Any pliers will do. I use ball nose pliers because they've got a nice thin edge to be able to clip into the split link. So just grabbing the split link also there. Easy as that. Split link off. And then next I'll get a flathead screwdriver just to prise off this side of the link, meaning that I can push the old link out and remove the chain. So that one provided. Simply enough, get the flathead into the edge of the link, prise that side off. Likewise that side, like so. And then pushing the old link through like that. Easy as that. That's now the old split link removed. And then putting the bike into neutral, which means then when I obviously take the chain off, the front sprocket can move with it. So now, grabbing the top of the chain here, simply pull the chain like so. And that old chain, obviously now we can bin that. You do have a choice of 2 links when putting a new chain on. You have what's called a rivet link or a split link. So as you can see, the split link is what we've just removed off the bike. I will reuse that link. You do have the choice of a rivet link. A bit more complicated to fit, so I personally just stick to the split link, but that is a choice of yours. But I personally use a split link, so I'll leave that one to one side. Now, with the new 20MX lightweight chain, as you can see, it's a lot cleaner with it being brand new and obviously a lot more durable. So first things first, when putting the new chain on, I go back to the adjusters, I'll slacken the rear wheel off, and then I'll put the adjusters right forward, meaning that I'll get the most use out of the chain. Because when fitting a new chain, if I was to refit it like it is now, you would waste the chain. If you put these adjusters right forward, you're almost starting again, and then the more the chain stretches, the further the back wheel will come, and you get more use out of the chain. So firstly, I'll adjust these back in as far as they'll go, and then I'll put the new chain on. So we need the spanners for that one. So a 13mm and a 10mm. Also, we need a 32mm to slacken the wheel nut off with a socket. So same again with the wheel, slacken the wheel off. Not fully, but just enough so we've got movement on the wheel so we can move these adjusters. 13mm nut, we'll slacken that right off. And then we'll put it right to the end, meaning that we can then take that adjusting bolt all the way back in to the swing arm like so. So as you can see, that now is in as far as it will go. And you can see I can get my finger in there now. So that just shows the amount of play we've got now to push the wheel forward to get more life out of the new chain. So I'll do the same on the other side with the adjuster. So now both adjusters are in as far as they'll go. You'll now see how much more movement we've got with the wheel being forward. So what that's done now is that has made that tyre closer to the mud flap. So just want to make sure that the wheel isn't touching. If the wheel's touching the mud flap, then it's too close and you want to bring the wheel back a bit, but that's far as it will go and it's not touching the mud flap, so we're all good. So next step is installing the new chain. So sometimes you just want to check inside of the roller, or should we say the chain guide. You do sometimes get a bit of dirt and mess in there. So just want to check there's no grit or no stones situated in there. Just a general cleanup of the chain guide itself. So we'll get some A9 Racing Oils detergent spray. And just a general cleanup of the chain guides. Top, and as you can see, if you look down in here, you can see you've got a lot of build-up of grease and muck. So I just want to try and avoid getting that on the new chain. So just give that a nice spray of the degreaser. Give that a wipe off. Just want to try and get as much off as you can to avoid getting on the new chain. Just makes the chain last longer that way. Same on the top one. Making sure it's nice and free of any dirt. So ready for the new chain to go on. The way that I do this is I grab one end in either hand and I'll start feeding the chain down the slider here, like so, until it reaches the front sprocket. And then I'll turn the front sprocket at the same time, like that. So as you can see, the chain spins round with the sprocket and then pushing it back through the bottom chain guide, like so. And then I've got enough purchase to pull that right through, then down through the rear chain guide. This sometimes can get a bit fiddly. So just want to push it through, feed it through with your hand until it reaches the sprocket. So spinning that rear sprocket round like so. As you can see, that is as tight as it will go. And then what I'll do is I'll put the bike in gear to stop the wheel from turning, making life a bit easier. So now we're at this point where you can see that obviously it needs to be on the other link. So what we'll do is we're going to slip back one link like that, and we can pull the wheel backwards like so. So now you can see that when I take these two links out, that'll be the right adjustment to then put the new split link through. We've not got too much slack here, so we've got a bit to work with when we want to adjust the chain. So next step, now that the wheel is like that, we're going to remove the unnecessary links. So these two links we're now going to remove with the chain breaker that are giving us the right length. So when we come to fit the chain like that, these two links will now be gone. Put our split link through, and then we can do the chain adjustment. So using the chain breaker provided, we're going to take the old links, the two old links out of the chain, and then obviously put the split link in place. So we'll need the spanner, 19mm spanner, to undo the adjusting nut. So go into our Pro Works drawer, 19mm spanner, just going to slacken off the tool, which means obviously when we pass the link through this part, we've got enough play. So I'm going to get that wound right out, like so. Give ourselves plenty of room to work with the link. So we're going to want to put the chain breaker just here, situated on this pin here. because that's the bit we want to remove. So we're going to put that into place, and then we're going to get that lined up there, nice and straight, and then simply turning the handle, that is then going to push the pin through, which will release the link for us. So it's quite a tough job, but you've got to be quite aggressive with it to just almost break the seal of the pin. There you go. So having done the first one, you want to go so far in but not push it all the way through, then release the tension, slacken that one off like so. So as you can see now, when I remove the chain breaker, you'll see that obviously the pin has already come so far out. So we're going to do the same on this one now. Like I said, it's quite a fiddly job, but at least it's done properly then. So push that pin through, like so, then bring it back out, and that should then allow us to, just like that, remove the old two links. So now we've got the correct link of the chain we want. So as I then put it back onto the sprocket, we now have got the correct connecting links to use with a split link. So sometimes the chain will slide off, if not we'll leave it there. New split link, making sure that we've obviously got the link in the right place. Slide the new one through like so, like that. Sometimes you might want a set of pliers to sort of push the link together, but as you can see, this one's got on nice and easy. So then the new split link, slide it into place. There's different ways of doing this, but I just do it the old school way, nice and easy. Set of pliers, get it around the edge of the new split link, clip it on, and there you have it. So that was the new chain now installed. We'll put the bike into neutral. And then the last part of the job, making sure that the wheel spins freely. We're going to adjust the chain to the correct adjustment. Now, as you can see, obviously got a bit of slack to it. We're now going to adjust the adjusters out, keeping both sides the same, so they're equidistant, so that the chain, as you can see, is very slack at the moment. So what I tend to do is just pull the wheel back myself, so somewhere sort of tight, finger tight the wheel nut up, and then crank out the adjusters. So we'll just do it so far for now on one side, because I don't want to get too carried away. And if I start adjusting it too far this way and not enough the other side, the wheel will be sat on a bit skew-if. So if I keep it straight on both sides, I know that the wheel will be lined up nice and straight in the swing arm. So the same again this side. We'll bring the adjuster out. So as you saw in previous episodes of when I said about adjusting the chain, as you can see, that's very slack. So I use my 3-finger tip, put it just behind the chain guide. As you can see, I've got 3 fingers and a fair bit of slack. So now we're going to adjust the chain with both adjusters, making sure we've got a nice, fairly tight but fairly slack chain. So I'll check the reading this side on the readers and the same again on the other side, and keep it nice and equal. So we've got first line just before the groove, and we've got first line just before the groove. So we'll take it back a few turns. Like I said, again, you can see the chain gets tighter. Now that's probably just about right, maybe a bit too tight. So I've got the 3 fingers underneath. I've got a bit of movement, but with it being a new chain, I don't want to do it too tight and snap it. So what I'm going to do is just slacken it off slightly, both sides, maybe 1 turn either side. Push the wheel forward, give the wheel a spin. So now I've got a bit more movement with the 3 fingers, so I'm happy with that. So with that adjustment there, I can do the same Again, as always, with the spanner trick, spanner into the sprocket, pull the wheel back round so it keeps the wheel nice and tight. And we're going to tighten up the rear wheel nut, nice and tight. And then last but not least, making sure that the adjusting nut is done up properly, keeping the adjusting bolt in place with the 10mm. We're going to tighten this one up. And then same again, the other side, making sure it's nice and tight. And then one final check of the wheel nut. And like I said before, making sure that back brake is pumped up. And there you have a brand new chain fitted. So as you can see, obviously a new chain, new sprocket, normally is the best way to do it. I tend to recommend, if you're going to change a new chain, I would do the sprockets and chain at the same time. But if you're on a bit of a budget, or if you think the chain's still in good condition, you can change the sprockets individually. But I do tend to recommend doing a chain of sprockets all at the same time. So we have used a 20MX chain that can be found on the 24MX website. My name is Charlie Frost, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one.